to Grand Bazaar, where we are actually going to be able to go to our bazaar. I'm so excited. Our whole week has been leading up to this moment. Today is the day of the bazaar. The bazaar is held weekly, either on a Saturday or a Sunday. If there's a festival, we won't have a bazaar that day, so check your calendar. Alright, Felix, lay it on me. Show me what's so great about this mighty bazaar. Here we are. As you can see, everyone is busy setting up. The bazaar starts at 10 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m. You can set up your own shop or just visit the other shops in the bazaar. So now he wants us to go and talk to every single person that is around, that has a store for us to visit at the moment. And the timer's frozen, so this is a nice chance for us to just sort of get the lay of the land here. Now, some of these stalls are empty, obviously. We can see that Raul has a stand here, which of course makes sense, because he's going to offer some unique crops and some other things that we can't normally get. And Lloyd also has a shop. We haven't really gotten into any hard events or really learned much about the characters yet, but Lloyd's whole job is actually that he's a merchant. So he's very, very good at finding stuff to sell, and his shop is always super successful. I mean, he says things haven't been selling, but usually he's a pretty good competition for you every single bazaar. So he's currently going to set up every single week. There's a random NPC lady. So people do come from out of town to fill some vacancies, and this lady will run the wrapping shop. And then Raul's brother is kind of hard to see because he's tucked in over here. His name is Enrique, and he sells animals. Look at all the cute little cows and the chickens. It'll be a while before we get some animals. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right here, right next to where Enrique is where Felix will usually set up. You can see he's got his own little sign there. And then Joan and Marion also have a stand. I can't wait to see who will come visit us today. I wonder what I should put on the menu. So, usually they sell some unique dishes that you don't normally get in their weekly rotation in town. And I think the last person to speak to is Wilbur. This bazaar used to be much bigger. We lost a lot of business when the last farmer left. And that's why we're really happy that you showed up. Yep, they really want to improve the local economy. We are here to help. So now that we've been given a little tour, he's going to show us where our stall is, which is right here. And we need to stand behind the counter to sell things. Press the A button to choose the items you want to sell. The price below the item is how much the item will sell for. Since it's your first time, I'll give you some chocolate you can sell. Now, this chocolate is great to sell just to kind of get your numbers up a little bit, but for me, because I've actually been very lucky in getting some stuff out of the river and my other drops have been pretty successful. I'm actually going to keep the chocolate because I can use it for an upcoming festival. And Felix is totally okay with it as far as I know. I've never actually tried to do that, so we'll see if he lets us. He might be like, hey, don't do that. I gave that to you for a reason. But this is a really good way just to see what things are worth, and it will give you an idea of how much you are losing by selling stuff to Raoul. Right? Some bugs you're probably losing $10, $20 on, which isn't really that much money, but something like the gold, he was gonna stiff us $3,000, which is huge, incredibly significant. So this will kind of give you a good idea. Same with branches, right? Branches are probably about $5, $10, $15 maybe. Weeds, sometimes they're the same price. Sometimes he'll give you 10. For the higher quality weeds, 20. You're only losing a little bit of money. So we'll just put some items out for now. And then we can press the X button to change items that we're selling. You'll also want to put out new items if you have an empty slot and you've sold out of a certain item. You want to keep your goods flowing. To attract customers, you have to ring the bell, which is kind of annoying to have to listen to the bell all day at the bazaar, but it is necessary in order to attract customers. So once you've put all your items out and you're ready to sell, you press the B button to ring the bell, and it will attract customers. So when you have an exclamation point above a character's head, it means that they've been called to attention and they'll come and inspect your store. When a customer comes to the counter, they'll tell you how many items they want. So that's how you sell them items. And then you'll also be able to keep a running tally on the top right corner of the amount of money that you've made today. Yellow stars indicate the quality of an item. More stars means higher prices. Indeed. Remember to sell the correct number of items to your customers. They might get angry and leave if you don't, so be careful. You can't sell items you've bought at the bazaar. Sell things that you've found, made, or grown beforehand. So he's going to talk a little bit more about total sales. At each bazaar, there's a certain sales goal we want to reach. If we can meet our goal, the bazaar is sure to benefit from it. I'll announce what our goal is at the beginning of each bazaar. In addition, the top sellers at each bazaar will receive prizes. The morning after the bazaar, I'll announce the results in the town square. Alright. With more money, you can make your store bigger. I want your store to be the biggest and the best at the bazaar. No pressure or anything. So that is the basics, which took almost 10 minutes. Oh my god. And also ate up 2 hours of time, which really sucks. Because I don't exactly have my affairs in order here. I've got to go and figure out what it is that I want to sell. And even taking shortcuts, it does take a little while to get back to my farm. Ooh, something glowing. I don't want to pass that up. Thank you very much. It is a good idea to get to the bazaar right when it opens if you can. You want to maximize the amount of time that you're selling for. So at this point, I've harvested most of my turnips. We've actually only got about 7 left, and we're going to be able to replenish those with the money that we're going to make today. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of swapping in my inventory here. I'm gonna take out all of my turnip salads that I've made, and I'm gonna put stuff away that I don't want to sell. So I'm still going to keep all of my flowers, so we can put all of those away. And you can put away tools if you want, if you feel like, you know, you don't want those taking up inventory space, by all means. I mean, I think I've got a pretty good set of what I want right now. I'm not going to sell everything that I have, but my inventory looks pretty decent. Before I go, I'm going to quickly go ahead and make some turnip salads. Now, what you'll notice is that these turnips are 1.5 stars, but as soon as I cook them into turnip salads, they're actually going to become a 2-star item. So that's definitely why it's worth turning turnips into salad, because you'll get more bang for your buck. Not only do the salads sell more because they're food, but you actually get some more profits. So I gotta quickly move my butt here. The bazaar has already started, but I'll only miss out on like maybe a half an hour of it. Normally you would have more time. Felix woke us up and kind of took up some of our time with the tutorial, which kind of stinks. I guess I could have prepared by putting the stuff that I wanted in my bag last night before bed, but I honestly thought that I would have had all morning. So I am gonna be late today. And it's a shame too, it's killing me because I want to be able to pick up some of these flowers. But I'm probably just gonna have to leave those behind. They're gonna be gone by the time I come back, so. You can see that there are people here, and we're gonna get right to work. We're not gonna waste any more time. We're gonna open up our stand, and you're gonna wanna prioritize items that have a freshness level, because if you keep holding on to them week after week after week, they are going to decrease in freshness and they're not going to sell for as much money. Now, I also have some other items that you might not have. Again, it depends on the amount of diving that you've been doing and how much luck that you've had. It's so early on in the game that I'm absolutely going to sell this gold. I hope somebody has deep enough pockets to buy it. And you're just gonna ring that bell like crazy. You're just gonna spam the B button continuously. Look at that. We already made $8,000 and we've only just opened our store. So I should be working on filling that hole so that I have product to sell. And that's pretty much it. We will get a bigger store as time goes on. We can expand our stall, and it can get really, really chaotic because you might have 5 or 6 people trying to buy stuff from you at the same time, and you have to remember how much they wanted, and people can get impatient and leave your stall. One of the things Felix didn't talk about was your reputation. Basically, how good your customer service was, and sometimes the people will ask you questions, and there's only one right answer, and I honestly don't have them memorized off the top of my head, but your reputation can go up or down, just depending on how you answer these questions. So that's another thing to watch out for. Like this lady here, she's gonna ask me something, So you can actually tell this lady to not give up. And your reputation will go up, despite the fact that she was so hungry that she was gonna pass out. So once you sell out all your items, you'll be given the option to set out new items or take a break. You can also leave at any time. You don't have to wait for all your items to sell. And as tempting as it is to sell flowers because they are worth a decent amount of money, I would hold on to them if you're able to. If you're really struggling, if you don't have a lot of stuff to sell and you just need to make money, then you can sell them. It's not the end of the world. Oh boy. And sometimes people will want free stuff. That happens a lot. And despite the fact that I'm ringing my bell like crazy, sometimes people's attention isn't grabbed. Sometimes it's the same people just kind of wandering around and they won't come back twice if they've already bought something, I find. I am actually gonna run out of items that I want to sell, I think, at this point. You'll also want to put out a variety of items. If you have different types of items, it's always a good idea to put out different kinds. I'm just winging it on these answers, by the way. Hopefully talking to this old guy was the right thing to do. Oh, he'll buy all of my turnip salad. Okay, that was definitely the right thing to do. Sometimes you'll also have people that are willing to pay double for your items if you give them the right response. So I will try and look up a cheat sheet or something of all the correct answers so that I have them and be a little bit more prepared next time. Right now I'm getting down to the very last of any items that I think are worth selling. If a character has dots above their head, it means that they're just not interested in what you have to sell. So they've taken a look at your stall and their attention has been drawn to it, but they just don't, you know, have any interest in anything that you've got. So at this point, even though it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I've pretty much sold everything that I've wanted to sell. If there was more things at home that you left behind that you couldn't carry, you can leave at any time and come back. So this might be a really good time for me to go and check my storage and just make sure that there is absolutely nothing that I want to grab. I can also go and pick up those flowers that I wanted to grab. We've met the goal, which will make Felix very, very happy. So I think at this point, because I had that gold to fast track me and propel me forward, I'm going to call it quits for the bazaar today. Very unusual that you won't stay for the full amount of time, but I just don't think it's necessary for me to have to do that today. And at this point, I don't have anything that's really worth selling back at the house, as far as I know, that I haven't already sold. I will go just take one look just to make sure, because we still have a couple of hours of selling time left. I do recommend taking these barrel shortcuts if you can. It'll cut down on time significantly. But yeah, there's nothing. It's just herbs, which I guess I could sell. I guess I could put a couple of these in and sell them. And I have multiple stacks of flowers. Like I have, you know, 16 of one type of flower. I could probably hypothetically put them out and only sell a couple of them if I wanted to. Why don't I do that? Why don't I just take like a small stack of flowers? Like maybe I'll take these toy flowers with me and I'll sell them just for a couple of extra bucks. I think I'll still be able to win the flower festival no problem. And keep in mind that the time you spend in your storage is not paused. So I just did use up a bunch of time going through my storage, so just keep that in mind as well. Whoops. Didn't mean to trespass, my bad. And then before the bazaar ends, we'll also want to take the opportunity to do some shopping ourselves. Now, Raoul is selling potatoes, but I don't actually recommend buying them. I think at this stage of the game, unless you want some variety, I would stick with turnips because they're cheaper and they grow faster. You'll turn out more turnips than you will potatoes. And we can see what Lloyd is selling. He is selling some very, very expensive ore. And I don't know how he's getting 14 grand for it when I'm only getting 8. That's a total ripoff. No wonder your store isn't doing very well. Your stuff is on a huge markup. But he sells ore. And then at Wilbur's store, he's actually a carpenter, so he can increase the amount of fields and storage that we're able to have, which are both fantastic upgrades. For now, we're going to pass on them because they're very expensive, but we'll come back. And then Joan's shop, you can see she's got food out. And if we stop by Felix's store, I'm going to buy another piece of chocolate for him. I want to have a piece of chocolate for every single girl right now, so I'm going to actually spend some money and buy another piece of chocolate. 4 pieces should cover it for the 4 girls that we can give stuff to. And Felix will also sell tools at the bazaar. Now, except for the fishing rod, the bazaar is the only place to get tools, and he will sell tools in a specific sequential order. So in order to get the next tool, we're gonna have to buy the sickle. And if you put off buying tools for too long, it will delay you being able to get the next tool. So even though we don't really need it right now, I'm probably going to just buy the sickle and keep it either in my inventory or in the storage so that we can buy the next tool next week. And I think the last store, besides Enrique's, we're gonna skip animals for now, is the wrapping stall. And basically what the wrapping stall will do, it'll allow you to wrap any item in a different colored wrapping paper, and certain characters like certain colors. So if a character likes yellow wrapping paper and you wrap a gift in this wrapping paper and give it to them, your gifts will give more affection. This is really, really fantastic when we're talking about birthday gifts and stuff like that. So it's 200 bucks, which isn't cheap, especially at this point in the game, but later on it's probably worth doing. And if you know that somebody's birthday is coming up the next week and you have a great birthday gift for them, then it might be something that's worth doing. Because remember, we can only do this once a week, so you can kind of plan accordingly. I know my explanations have been fast, or at least they've felt like they've been fast, but I am actually really surprised at how long these videos have been. Like, there's just so much going on in this first week, it's really nuts. So I'm just gonna take time to sell more stuff, clean out absolutely everything that I have. I'm keeping the tea cans for a later date. And anything I make now is just bonus extra change. We've done very, very well for our first bazaar. And even though we're setting out weeds and bugs and things that you wouldn't really think are worth anything, people are buying them. So that's great. And at this point, I can't even afford to give them any sort of variety. It's just all bugs. If you like bugs, I am the stall for you. So we probably won't get much more business before it closes because we have all the same items. Which you may or may not notice. People do like variety. But because we can get more money for bugs from the bazaar still, I mean, it's worth a try, right? If I can sell one more bug, I can close out my stall before the bazaar ends. But $17,000 we made, which is obviously going to get us very far, because we've been really nickel and diming for this whole week. We started out with $1,000 and then we got down to the last couple $100 just trying to get everything started. So if you stay right till 7 o'clock, Felix will announce that the bazaar is closing. And yes, Felix is going to be very, very happy tomorrow, knowing that we've met the goal. Bazaar days are also a really excellent day to go and speak to all of your villagers. So if you're wanting to give people gifts, if you're wanting to talk to people, if you have a hard time finding those more difficult residents to find to go to work in the city or anything like that, pretty much everybody is in town today. Some people go to the bazaar, some people don't. But usually you can peek in their houses and they'll be there. So the bazaar day is really, really, really busy because you have to get everything together. If you've got time, you know, you can do your normal foraging, not passing up anything that you might be able to sell or anything that you want to grab. And you also have to make sure to water all of your crops. So that is the last thing that I'm going to do today, or at least for this video, because we're getting to the half an hour mark here. But we will be back tomorrow because Felix will be announcing the results of the bazaar, and he'll go over how everybody did in terms of sales and customer satisfaction and all that good jazz. So you definitely want to tune in and see what he has to say. And I still have full stamina, so if I want to after this, I can go and do a little bit of diving. But that is the end of our first week in Grand Bazaar. I can't believe that I had to do as many videos as I did for the first week. It just absolutely flew by. And we also are starting a festival tomorrow. So yeah, we're gonna start next week off with a bang as well, which is exciting. So I hope that I covered everything that there was to cover in the bazaar. I know there's just a ton of information, but the bazaar really is the most important thing in this game. So if I've missed anything regarding the bazaar or there's anything else I want to add, then I will be sure to mention it, take note of it for our next bazaar next week. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.